Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about Fist of the North Star. Th- this is a random manga. Now, this is not. These. This is okay. This is very random because I just happened to be like, oh, I want to read more manga, and I'm bored. So I like googled up, oh, best manga of all time. Because I feel like I've read all the ones which everyone talks about. More or less, I have read them. Some of the very obvious jarring ones I've not read, like Vinland Saga, or some of the more trendier, newer ones. But like I was like, you know what? How about I search for the best of the best? So I basically googled greatest mangas of all time, and I got like a site which gave me 55 of them, and this was number 55. So I'm here to talk about Fist of the North Star. Completely found it by just random. Never heard of it until I started to read it. This is an interesting manga. I will say this. I like this manga, but I have a lot of complaints about it. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I wasn't entertained throughout. All right. So let's start off with what I liked about the manga. I think Kenshiro, who's our protagonist, I like him. Okay, so the manga is old. Not to justify why it's bad, but the manga is old, and honestly, this is like a hallmark for many other things to come. Berserk is one of my favorite mangas I've ever read, and Kenshiro is very much. I can see the inspiration that Kenshiro gives to all the other things. Also, this straight up, if you look at it, you'll probably think of JoJo's at first. Like, you can tell a lot of inspiration was taken from Fist of the North Star, right? I think Kenshiro is a good protagonist. He has, he's like your very classic cliche of like stoic badass hero, which Shonen Jump decided to copy a million times after him, you know. But yeah, he is like the kind of like I think he is the main inspiration for all these other characters where they're like, big buff man who's a bit, who's super strong but like a bit has a soft side, all of that stuff. I think the art style is fantastic. I believe Tetsuo Hara is the one who made the art for the manga, even though it was written by someone else. Incredible art style. I think, and there's something about this and Lone Wolf and Cub, which is another manga which is like super old. I feel like I believe they both came at the same time, Lone Wolf and Cub and Fist of the North Star. Very similar art style they both have, and they both have very good art style. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the old manga art style which really looks good, and I personally really enjoyed it, right? And I think so. Basically, the whole manga is hero shows up, villain is like, ahaha, I'm strong. Hero beats the shit out of villain, and it's over. It's a formula which is rinsed and repeated throughout the manga. It has like 240 chapters, and the entire manga has this formula. And again, it might sound similar because a lot of anime and manga seems to be inspired from this formula. I don't think they were the first to do it, but this manga definitely is one of the early ones. However, there are some character arcs and story arcs which is not just about, oh, Kenshiro shows up, beats up villain, and that's it. Now, there's a lot of emotional character arcs, right? I think the first half of the manga, which spoiler alert, there's a time skip in the middle, and that's how I basically, in my head, that's the first and second half of the manga. First half is pre-time skip, second half is post-time skip. Pre-time skip, the first half of the manga, incredible. Personally, it should have ended there. It's an incredible manga with incredible artwork. Some of the best payoffs for some of the arcs, I will say. I had so much fun reading it. Especially, okay, so there's a couple of arcs. I think the arc with Rei is great because it's such a long arc. It's like, I love, so what is rare in this manga is good character writing and good character growth, unfortunately. But the first half has them, and it pays off in a good way. I think Rao or Keno has an incredible arc. I would say that is the best arc. So if the manga ended in the first half, it literally starts from point A and peaks, and I think that's where it should have ended. That would have been such a good manga. Still would have had its problems, but it wouldn't be so in your face. Incredible. Second half is genuinely very mind-boggling. It's so dragged. Everything after the okay, you know what? We'll get to what I don't like about it, and I will just get to it right now. I think the first half has great villains. I think it has great side characters. It has proper character development. You're emotionally attached in the journey, in the story. Genuinely incredible. First half is great. Now the second half is horrible. everything after Rao's arc, which again I don't want to get into spoilers because I will say you should read this manga. It's very entertaining in the first half. Everything after Rao's arc just feels like filler, except it's not. It's just the story moving forward. The villains are underdeveloped. You don't care about them. You like again the formula also starts to get very stale. It already is stale in the first half, but then the second half you know that no matter what villain is introduced, it's just not gonna make much sense. It's gonna be meaningless. The first half, great, because the villains actually feel threatening. And even though you know he's going to win in the end, it's very entertaining. The second half is just, please just get it done with. I want to move on. Right? I also think there's a lot, again, unfortunately, there's a lack of character development for like 90% of the characters. Some of them have very good character development, very good. Rei, especially, I think has some of the best character development in this manga. And even Kenshiro, he's the protagonist, and even his character development kind of stops after a point. And it's like, oh, okay, you know. But yeah, I do think the world building is really good in the manga. It's set in a Mad Maxy post-apocalyptic world, which is nice. But the world building kind of ends early on as well. Again, the problem with this manga mostly lies with the second half. The first half, genuinely incredible. Very old school, very fun to read, and you're into it. I appreciate what this manga is. Yeah, I just don't think it's that good of a manga overall because I unfortunately had to read through the second half as well. But other than that, I think it's an okay manga. I would not go as far as to give it a 6 because I did enjoy the first half a lot, but I would say it's not more than like a 7, and that's me being generous if I'm being honest. But yeah, 7 out of 10 is what I think of the manga. I think you should read it. I think the first half is incredible, very entertaining, and I'm pretty sure most of your favorite mangas and animes have been inspired from Fist of the North Star. Like mine was, and I was very fascinated that I was reading the origin. So it was great. But other than that, that's all I have to say about this manga. Hopefully, you guys have a great day. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.